Today, on a rainy Saturday afternoon, 100 or so residents of Sheffield took to Cathedral Square to protest in support of the banned political group Palestine Action. The group was branded a terror organisation and made illegal by the Home Secretary earlier this year after members of the group broke into an RAF base and vandalised 2 aircraft to draw attention to the British government's support of Israel. As of July 2025, it is now illegal to publicly support the group or its actions. The protest was scheduled for 1 PM, and as I passed through the streets getting to the cathedral, the police were already waiting nearby. A CCTV van was also in the square, presumably giving the server mods remote vision so they could know when the protest started. Wouldn't want to spend more time than necessary outside of a warm police van. Soon, around 15 to 20 protesters sat on the cathedral steps and unveiled their signs. This is a direct violation of the Terrorism Act of 2000, which states, "A person in a public place commits an offence if he wears, carries or displays an article in such a way as to arouse reasonable suspicion that he is a supporter of a prescribed organisation." These people are risking a conviction on terror charges and face being permanently excluded from government jobs, visiting certain countries or working with children. It was calm and quiet at first, but 15 minutes later, the crunch arrived. For each protester in turn, an officer read off a script.
The sign which you're displaying is a grant to the suspect that you are supporting Palestine Action, which is a prescribed terrorist organisation. If you are arrested or convicted of this offence, it is likely to have a significant impact on your life. Have you considered the implications of having a criminal record?
Have you considered the implications of supporting a genocide?
And when the protester refused to comply, they would be arrested and carried away by police. The handbook given to all protesters instructed them to go floppy, which requires several officers to carry them to the party van. With each arrest, there were cries of shame at the coppers and applause for the arrested. Then a group of protesters burst into song.
We will live in peace.
Who wrote the songs that you are singing?
We are members of Sheffield Socialist Choir.
Palestine Solidarity Party.
Join us on a Thursday.
The arrests were slow and one at a time. Oh sure, there you go. What's your name?
Lee Itcham. Up the Preston. Preston North End. Free Palestine. Peace among the world. Peace among us.
When around half of the protesters had been arrested, South Yorkshire's finest drove away in the vans, the rain let up, and for a while it seemed like everything was over. Would you say it's been a successful day today?
Successful? Well, it depends on your view of successful, doesn't it? I'm obviously not going to give too much comment and my opinions on all this. Nobody's been hurt. Everything seems to be going smoothly and hopefully everyone's been looked after.
The protesters were supposed to maintain a solemn vow of silence, but by now the scene was a lot more jovial, they were chatting to people, and I could finally get some interviews.
Do you have any contingency plans if you were arrested? Who's going to feed your cat or anything like that?
Student, so not anything I have to worry about really.
Oh, and you've already been arrested before? But you weren't charged?
It's a bit haphazard who's getting these charge emails.
If you do get charged and you do get found guilty, do you have any plans for life if you do end up with a terror conviction?
A job that's a bit more flexible. I believe everyone should be able to have rehabilitation. So if it does come and it affects my job, I'll look for a job that's a company that's more reception of people with criminal convictions. Because that's what I believe in anyway. So
my questions were cut short after the cops returned and arrested her. But by 2:30 PM, the crowd had dwindled and now attention was gradually shifting towards something else. See this guy taking a bong hit? I had seen him earlier getting searched by the cops. I tried to interview him, but his dog was getting rowdy and some attendees took issue with the fact his dog had a tight spiky collar.
She's a medical tool.
She's not a medical tool, she's a sentient being.
The minimum amount of effort to control.
And you're using her for your own benefit.
Yes.
How do you think she feels?
I'd definitely exploit it. If she was oil, I would put her in my car. Feelings.
What a loser. Soon, the protest became more about confronting the dickhead with the dog, detracting from the Palestine stuff. And my parking had expired 20 minutes ago, so I figured it was time to call it quits before I got a ticket. I hope by documenting this event that it highlights the total absurdity of Britain's restrictions on free speech. This is not an act of terror. It's an old man holding a piece of cardboard. A shivering grandma should not be arrested under terror legislation for expressing an opinion. The ban on supporting Palestine action only applies if it is done in a public place. You can put one of these signs in your window and it's not illegal because it's on private property. But the moment you carry the sign 10 paces out into the street, suddenly now you're guilty of promoting terrorism. This protest was organised by Defend Our Juries, a campaign group who remind the public that members of a jury can, if they so wish, vote to acquit a guilty defendant if they believe the law is unjust or the defendant should not be punished for his crimes. Sometime in the future, you may have the opportunity to serve as a juror in a trial where a defendant's freedom of speech is being challenged. It would be wise to remember that if the Home Secretary can, at the stroke of a pen, make it an act of terrorism to express opinions on a piece of paper, then it may one day be used against you.